What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and it's Tuesday, which means it's time, of course, for our weekly tier list Tuesday. And over the last week or so, we've been starting to hear some reports regarding some of the top 2026 free agents, especially the big three, that being Connor McDavid, Kirill Kaprizov, and Jack Eichel. And according to these reports, and rightfully so, these guys are all going to reset the market with the salary cap exploding. They are going to go well north of Leon Draisaitl's $14 million. So I thought it'd be a fun idea to tier list the highest paid players in the NHL right now and their remaining contracts. So that's what we're doing. Here are the different tiers. Top 20 contract in the NHL. These deals both have term, as well as you're saving every single year a metric shit ton. Steal of a deal. Those are like top probably 21 to 60 contracts in the NHL. Solid surplus value. Maybe not a ton of term, but you're saving a decent amount of money. Market value is like about net equal or maybe somewhat bad, but maybe they could turn it around. And then straight garbage is like there is less than a 10% chance that they actually turn this into even just equal value. It is bleeding money as of right now. They're old or just got paid way too much. Let's start it off. Why don't we? We're starting off with Mr. McDavid. At the end of the day, he only has 1 year left. So I don't think you can put him in steal of a deal for this singular season. But when you see some of the other deals that we're going to be going through, you can see it even just down here. It's a very good deal, but just for 1 year. And as a result, he is just in solid surplus. Mark Stone, 2 years, 9.5. When he is healthy, he's definitely a $9.5 million player, like consistently 70-ish point pace while being one of the best defensive wingers in the entire NHL. So, yeah, it's definitely market value for the most part. I'm not going to completely glaze him like I usually do in my top 50 players. Nathan MacKinnon's no doubt a top 20 contract in the NHL. In my opinion, might be a top 2 contract in the NHL, considering the fact that he has 6 years left. Yes, he is 29 years old, but I see no reason why this guy's not going to still be a top 5 player in the NHL at like 33, 34, 35 years old. He is absolutely insane. I remember when he signed for this contract, when he got $100,000 more than Connor McDavid, people were losing their minds. They could not yet grip that the salary cap was rising. And yeah, now he's on just an amazing, amazing deal. Him, like Connor McDavid, is worth probably 20% of the salary cap. Since he signed this deal, he's consistently been a top 5 player, probably top 3 every single season, or at least the last 2 seasons for sure. Ovechkin, I don't expect him to put up like 54 goal pace like he did last year, but he should still score like 35 to 40 goals, be worth $8.5 to $9.5 million. It's about market value. Doughty, on the other hand, yeah, this was unfortunate. This one was signed back in 2019 with the expectation that the salary cap would continue to rise. It hasn't. He's aged pretty good, but at the end of the day, he's an $8 to $9 million defenseman that's 34, 35 years old. And he had a pretty serious injury last year and was not quite the same. So, yeah, I love Drew Doughty, future Hall of Famer, but right now it is a pretty bad contract. Braden Point, I'm also going with top 20 contract in the NHL. You have a top 20 player in the NHL, top 10 center, locked up for the rest of his prime. He is 29 years old at this point, but I still think he's going to be extremely elite. He gives you 40 goals, 50 assists, 90 points, solid defense every single year for sub $10 million. It's probably a top 20 contract. It's probably somewhere between 13 to 20. I don't know if I would have in my top 10, but it's still awesome value. Mitch Marner, in the regular season, that's a really good contract with the salary cap going up. The playoffs, he's not remotely close to $12 million, so the discrepancy is so much, so he just landed in the middle. It's about market value. I'm fine giving Mitch Marner $12 million, but yeah, he needs to step up when it matters. Andrei Vasilevsky, I'm going to go with about market value. He was awesome last year in the regular season. He's kind of been shitting his pants the last 3 years in the postseason. But yeah, I don't know if he's an $11 to $12 million goalie at this point, but he's definitely between 9 to 10.5 probably. So about market value is 31 at this point, but again, was very good last year in the regular season. Matthew Tkachuk, probably also a top 20 contract in the NHL. He has been hurt of late, but whenever this guy does play, he's around the 90-point base guy, a guy that you want come playoff time, an absolute demon. The last 3 runs has all been like point per game. Beast. Kucherov, because he has that second year, I'm going to go to steal of a deal. He's a $14 to $15 million guy probably the next 2 seasons that has won back-to-back Art Ross trophies. And yeah, compared to Connor McDavid, he does have that extra year. Artemi Panarin, it's tough because 2024, he was easily worth $11.6 million. He was like a top 8 player in the NHL. The problem was this year he did fall off a decent amount. 11.64 is a decent amount of money. He's 30. He's going to be 34 years old in like a month. It's market value, slightly semi-bad, but yeah, 1 year, 11.6. You're not killing yourself over giving him that. McAvoy, I'm still on the McAvoy train. He had an injured season and wasn't that productive offensively, but I think he's going to bounce back when he actually has Hampus Lindholm alongside him. And yeah, even if he's just a top 10 to 15 defenseman, he's 27 years old. He's still in his prime, making $9.5 million. I could see you putting in steal of a deal. I just got to see him come back from that injury. But yeah, it's still a very good contract. Adam Fox, though, I am going to go with steal of the deal, considering this guy just stacks elite seasons on a dog shit New York Rangers deep defense core. He was still awesome, gives you around 70 points, great analytics every single season, only 27 years old. Yeah, even if you're not as high as I am on him, I have him as my third best defenseman in the NHL. Even if you have him in that 7 to 10 range, $9.5 million for his age 27 to 30 seasons is still an absolute steal. Darnell! Unfortunately, garbage, dude. I feel so bad for him because if he was making $6 million the last 3 seasons, like nobody would be talking down on him so much. But because of that price tag, he has the scrutiny, and rightfully so. He is under a magnifying glass. And yeah, he's not remotely close to $9.25 million. Werenski, it is 1 year less than Fox is. I think I'm going to put it in surplus value just because it is only 3 years. If he repeats this season, then it's definitely, but he's not stacked the amount of elite seasons that an Adam Fox had. He's my number 4 defenseman, Fox 3. And again, just that 1 year difference, 3 years. It's tough unless you're Nikita Kucherov to crack a steal of a deal with that short of term. Aho. I think I'm going to go with steal of the deal. 7 years. He is getting up there. He's not that old, but he's 28 years old. So this does take him until he's like 34, 35 years old. But yeah, he's, in my opinion, like a top 30 to 35 player. Great defensive center that gives you mid-30 goals, point per game in a Rod Brindamore system. And yeah, he just has a shit ton of term. Even if he doesn't age fantastic, like 9.75 ain't going to be shit in 4 to 5 years. Sagan is tough. I don't know. He was around a point per game last year. I don't expect him to be able to replicate that. He's probably going to be a $7 to $8 million forward the next 2 years. It's not the end of the world. It's not like Jamie Benn falling off last year, but it's still kind of garbage. Bobrovsky, $10 million is a lot of money, but he's been so damn good in the playoffs the last couple of years that I gotta at least put him in market value or semi-bad. He's definitely not garbage, even though it is $10 million. Pasternak, 6 years, 11.25 with the 3 elite seasons that he has stacked, 3 legit top 8 regular seasons in the NHL. Last year, the best player in the second half of the NHL. Yeah, he's still only 28 years old, 29 years old, and you have him locked up. It looked like a lot of money at the time, but it has aged fantastic as some of these other guys have gotten paid. Jack Eichel, it's kind of like a McDavid situation. Just 1 year, he's probably worth $13 to $14 million next season, but at 1 year, can't be too over the moon about it. And he's going to get an 8-year deal at $15.5 million. Bouchard, I might get hate for this, but he's an elite offensive defenseman, right-handed defenseman. The playoff numbers are amazing. You're getting him for his age. I think he actually has an early birthday, so 26 to 29-year-old seasons. As long as he's just a top 8 to 13 defenseman, this is a very, very good deal. Even if he's just a top 12 to 17, I think you're fine at $10.5 million. I would have wanted them to get more terms. I feel like they're going to have to give him some kind of 8 by 13.5, 14.5 in 4 years from now. Huberdeau, he's bounced back, but bounced back from, I think he had 12 goals, 51 points his first season. Now he's 30 and 30, but at $10.5 million at 32 years old, it is still turbo dog shit. Dahlin's is kind of looking like a steal of a deal. It is, they should have not bridged him the first time, but this guy's a top 5 defenseman, in my opinion. Still only 25 years old. I think he actually has kind of a later birthday, either April or May. So you're getting him on his age 25 to 32-year-old or 31-year-old seasons on this. At $11 million, he's already north of $11 million with the salary cap going up. It is really aged, and Dahlin just continues to stack elite seasons. Carlson, this is his Pittsburgh cap hit. Remember, San Jose retained $1.5 million. It is garbage. He's a $7 to $8 million defenseman. That's why if Pittsburgh was willing to retain, they'd get a shit ton of assets. But right now, I don't think anybody would punch him at $10 million. Shesterkin, I'll go with market value. It has some terms, so at least as he continues to go with the salary cap going up compared to a Vasilevsky. But yeah, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. I don't love it, but it's okay. You got to pay for that kind of talent in the playoffs. Willie Stiles. I'm going to go solid surplus value. He's consistently given you the last couple of years 40 goals, 80 to 90 points. Pretty solid contract in my books. Barkov, this might be a top 20. This might be a top 20 for the best defensive center in the NHL. It's also 85 to 90 point pace. It's also been arguably Florida's best forward, best skater the last 2 playoff runs. Yeah, it's a great contract. Pedersen, this might surprise me. I'm going to put him in. It's definitely semi-bad, in like pretty bad if at this point, considering how bad he was last season. But at the end of the day, I think he has a chance to turn it around. He's still only 26 years old. If his knee can bounce back, I don't think it's ever going to be steal of a deal, but it's not the level of these guys where there's like no chance they turn it around. If he can just be a 30-goal point per game guy in 3 to 4 years, 11.6 won't look that bad, if that makes sense. Matthews, solid surplus value, 3 years, 13.25. If he's healthy, he's a 15, 16, 17, 18, maybe even $1 million player. But when he's hurt, yeah, it's been a little bit inconsistent the last 3 years. But I'm betting on him to have a bounce back year. Mikko Rantanen, solid surplus value. Again, we've seen the flashes even in Dallas when he just took over in the playoffs. You pay him that for the skills that he has, at the size that he has, and the playoff numbers that he has. I think he's like 15th all-time in playoff points per game. You're fine giving him an 8x12. Dobson, 8 by 9.5. They had to give him a lot considering they traded a lot to get him. I think he's going to be maybe the first year or 2, 3 years might not be quite worth this, but he's 25 years old. He's 6'4", right-handed defenseman, position of need. It's going to be a fine deal by the back half, and I think it's about market value. Could potentially turn into solid surplus value, although he probably won't have those gaudy point totals because of Lane Hudson. And then lastly, Draisaitl. You could make an argument that even though he's the highest paid player in the NHL, that is a top 20 contract in the NHL just because he was the best player in the NHL last year on a per game basis. I think I'm going to go with steal the deal at this point again, although he did reset the market, just considering he's reset the market when we thought the salary cap was only going up $4 to $5 million a year. That's not the case anymore. So I could see an argument. He is 29 years old at this point, so there is some age regression concerns. But nah, this is still an awesome deal for a guy that is this talented, that is a top 3 player in the NHL. But yeah, let me move myself out of the way for a quick second to give you guys the full picture. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about this tier list? Who would you move up? Who would you move down? I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace.